Good evening. My name is Helen Whitten. I live at 7 Fowler Street. And you're not getting what you got from John from me. First of all, I want to thank Professor Galia for his clarifying a number of things about the building, which I was not aware of, and that was helpful. And I have modified my remarks somewhat accordingly. Thank you. Put this in the right position. To begin, I do want to say, like many of the speakers this evening have said, that in principle, I do support Wolfville's intention to increase residential accommodation and commercial space in the downtown core and to enhance the vitality of the center of our town and to encourage walking and biking and reduce car use. Those are admirable goals, and I hope we can find a way to move in that direction. The proposed development at 336 Main Street, however, for me does raise some serious concerns that I feel still need to be addressed before the town does make a final approval of a development agreement. For this is a very visible and important location in the heart of our downtown. We've heard questions about the size and the mass and the height of the building, conflicts with architectural guidelines and other concerns. I'm particularly concerned about the north facade of the building and the building's impact on the waterfront park and the walking trail. I think this is something we need to think about quite carefully. I'm sure you would all agree that the waterfront park is the crown jewel of Wolfville. From there, one looks out in awe at the breathtaking beauty of the Minas Basin, the majesty of Blomidon, the never-ceasing rise and fall of the tide. And in the warm months of the year, I never walk along the trail or down into the park without encountering tourists who are soaking up the magic and quietly reading the interpretive signs or marveling at the revealed seabed or the soaring birds or the wind on the water. To me, then, it is inconceivable that we would approve a development that could have a serious negative impact on this beloved waterfront parkland. And I'm going to give you some reasons why I think we do need to consider the overall look of it to make that not a serious concern. I know Wolfville does highly value its natural beauty, and official documents often cite this as one of the town's prime attributes. On the town's website, Mr. Cantwell recently stated in his mayor's welcome that, paragraph 3, much of our strength derives from our physical beauty. Our sense of place makes our physical surroundings worth caring about, and that's more important than anything else. I think we all feel that way. We love this town, and it's so important to remember that. This community, Wolfville, has a conscience built around principles of sustainability, fair trade, buy local, natural beauty, enduring value, culture, restaurants, food, parks and open spaces, education. We could go on. The town's website also says that the planning department is influenced by 4 factors. 1, a keen interest in architectural values. 2, a desire to create and maintain a pedestrian-oriented commercial district. 3, a high value placed on parks and open space. And 4, of course, assimilating and working with our university student population. We have different ways to respond to these. We have our architectural guidelines. We put, and from my point of view here, we put a significant investment in our parks and open spaces, in acquiring them and developing them. And of course, we made extensive use of development agreements and tried to work together for good solutions. With the high value placed on our parks and open spaces, the town now must surely be committed to protecting them once they are developed. We all know a great deal of effort and money went into developing the waterfront park as part of the town's parks and gardens policy. Unfortunately, I feel the proposed development in its present form is so massive that it will simply overwhelm and debase the waterfront park and the adjacent walking trail. The site drawings show the proposed building covering most of the lot aside from the driveway. Because of the height of the building, its solid mass and flat, unarticulated, north-facing facade, the building will loom over the park, changing profoundly this part of Wolfville's waterfront. The report by Acoustics Planning and Design, which was commissioned by the town, notes, with reference to the rear facade fronting on the waterfront park, that the current design, I'm quoting here, the current design proposal shows a minimalist treatment. This facade deserves the same level of design articulation as the Main Street facade, as it will be highly visible from the park and the trail. I don't believe the town has asked the developer to respond to this recommendation, and I think it's something that needs some attention. If you walk along the hiking trail eastward from Harborside Drive, you can see the difficulty plainly. Be careful though, it's very icy. I just about bailed when I went out there. The building will cover most of the lot area. It will protrude much farther north than the buildings on either side of it, which do not seem to overpower the park. If you're out there, imagine a solid structure, 45 feet high, built almost up to the lot line as a towering backdrop to the park and the walking trail. The center of the building will be directly behind the gazebo and the band shell. Now, my feeling about the air conditioners, I feel a little bit better having heard your comments about the state-of-the-art air conditioners. However, I think the noise is something that needs some consideration, because when they get older, they do get noisier. There are a lot of them. The other noise concern, of course, is the north-facing rooftop, the green space, because I'm sure there will be people up there enjoying themselves. It would be incredible if they weren't up there enjoying themselves. The difficulty here is, I feel, were the building somewhat smaller, lower, and set further back from the north property line, the negative impact on the park and the trail could be much reduced. And in looking at Professor Galay's, the drawing of his town, the building in Antigonish, it looks as if it would be perfect for this site. I think it would fit in perfectly, and you would have so much more space behind it before you came to the property line. In general, I feel this is a clear example of the town needing a scale model of the proposed development in relationship to the adjacent buildings, the park, and the walking trail. Without this, an informed decision is difficult, because it's really hard to know if it's appropriate for the site and how it complies with architectural guidelines. A simple two-dimensional drawing is not sufficient. Without a model, a real 3D live model, it's extremely difficult for councillors to visualize and fully understand what they're being asked to vote on. A further complication looking northward is the question of the driveway for the building. I understand there are two proposals at present. The first is for the two-way driveway with the exit and entrance on Main Street. And the other is for a permanent all-weather exit to the north, which I had understood until this evening connected to the Harborside Drive over the lands of the former Windsor-Hansport Railway, with access at Main Street limited to entry only. But I now understand that there's a further proposal that the connection could go east over towards the skateboard park area. Yes? So you have perhaps either option there. This option, though, it seems to me, will mean that the walking trail through this area is lost or seriously degraded. Furthermore, any hope of allowing for safe passage by bicycle through the busy downtown core by putting a bike path beside the walking trail will be lost. People I've talked to about the project are aghast to think that the trail and railway land could be open to cars. Many people seem to think that the rail lands belong to the municipality or the province, but actually, as we know, they belong to a private American company, and they can't be sold to a private concern. What a sad day that would be for our showcase park and trail. Which driveway proposal will it be? It cannot be left in the agreement as either or. To me, the northern one is inconceivable unless there is some way to address these issues. In short, the development agreement for 336 Main Street requires significant changes and additions before an informed vote can be made. Town Council cannot vote for a proposal with so many questions and difficulties, which, left unresolved, will, I believe, lead to an irreversible degradation of our waterfront park and walking trail.
Thank you very much.